Hey everybody, so on Monday you guys read about knights. Now knights are like the professional soldiers in the Middle Ages, so they would have been wealthy upper class citizens because you had to buy your own horse, you had to buy your own armor, your own weaponry. But they were the top soldiers in Middle Ages. So most of the army would have been made up of regular peasants. That would have had very simple weapons, no armor. But the top soldiers would have been the knights. Now, the advantage of being on horseback, as a lot of you guys picked up in the reading, you can move a lot faster. You can travel over greater distances, and then when you go to attack, you have all that force of the horse as you are it rhymes as you are riding, which would really help you to knock down the enemy soldiers. Now, one of the issues of being a knight was that you're fighting covered in armor, and that would make it really hard for you to tell each other apart on the battlefield. Because the idea would be if you're covered in head to toe in armor, you might start fighting someone who actually is on your side. So one of the things that knights ended up doing was putting a coat of arms or a family crest on their armor, so it was easy for them to tell each other apart. So almost very similar to like how, like this is almost like an Arlington crest on my shirt, where you could say like, oh, okay, like he works for Arlington, or he's involved in Arlington soccer because of this crest, this very visible symbol on my shirt. So what we're actually learning about today is you guys are going to get a chance to research your family crest or coat of arms. Now, this won't work for everybody. For a variety of reasons. If you have European ancestry, there's a good chance that your last name has a connection to a family last name in the Middle Ages, which would then find a family crest or coat of arms that would match your current last name. But a lot of our last names have changed over time, even if we have European ancestry. So, for example, my last name, Riley, was probably most likely, and again, a lot of these things we're going to have to take some good educated guesses with, was Oralhe, spelled with L's and G's and H's, and it would not have necessarily been Riley like you see Reilly like it is now. So when you are going to search for your name on the website, on the assignment I'm giving you today, you might have a hard time finding your name. So one of the things I suggest is you try spelling your name almost like it sounds. Try looking up different variations of your last name, especially with spelling. And if you can't find your last name, it doesn't mean that you don't have European ancestry. It just means that your name might have been changed so much over time, especially as your ancestors immigrated to the United States, that the last name could have been changed. I'll give you an example. For some people, when they came through, let's say, Ellis Island, and there was a language barrier between the people they were talking to. So when they were saying their name, the person was thinking, okay, that's their first name. And then he said, where are you from? And the person responded with where they're from. And then all of a sudden, where they're from actually became their last name. And so that's actually a common thing where you could see a lot of last names are actually from where you were from, not exactly where what your actual last name was. And then another thing would also be our last names could also be based off of like some occupations we had, which is why Smith is such a common last name, the idea of blacksmiths and things like that. Now, if you don't have European ancestry, you also might not find a family crest or coat of arms with your family's last name on it. So a suggestion I would have is you can pick any last name that you want, maybe a famous celebrity, a famous athlete, or another family member that had their name, a last name that you could find that you could look up. So basically, for this assignment, you can look up your last name or the last name of any famous person, historical figure, or celebrity, or anything like that. And then you're just going to answer some questions. You're going to go to another website and use that to find out what the different symbols and things mean. So if you're curious about my family crest, it's the coolest one I've ever been able to find. It's the one that was hanging above my desk in the classroom, the bleeding severed hand, right, held between two lions. And if you're curious what it means, I will tell you tomorrow.